How's it? Today's Friday, July 7th. It's June 30th, but better? Yeah, we're doing that. It's basically Big Friday from last week, because last week was such a shit show. Um, do 95 snatch, 125 clean and jerk, 135 front squat. Those are the numbers. Snatches today were, I think, a little bit better than they were last week. I think last week was muddled with inconsistency. I was a little bit inconsistent with my warm ups for snatch today because my right lumbar was giving me a lot of pain. Like it didn't. I don't think it's ever felt like that with snatches. Literally ever. I know that I mentioned it on Wednesday's jerks because standing up off of the block was a little bit painful. But I've never had pain pulling from the ground for snatches. Like right here, look at that. I don't know if it's one of those things that more warm up the better it gets, or I don't know. I just know that it was very not happy with the snatches. Like I'm like trying to just I don't even know like will my way through all these lifts. For what it's worth, it didn't hurt at all when I was cleaning. It didn't hurt at all with any of the jerks. It didn't hurt at all with the front squats. So I think today was one of those like if I had slept poorly last night, which I didn't. I think last night's sleep was normal um, in every regard. It's just like one of those things where it might be a one-off thing. I don't know. Again, it's never hurt with doing pulls from the ground for a snatch specifically. So this is what I was talking about earlier with my warm-ups are a bit bad. So 80, that first 80 was awful. I come back, I do 80 again, and that was really really solid. Same thing happens with this 90. So I don't usually like to reattempt my warm ups. Look at that. I was so behind the bar and I was kind of throwing my hips. But this 90 is probably the best 90 I've ever done. Not gonna lie. Look at that. I was very 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 comfortable with positions, very comfortable with speed and everything around that. Here is my first set at 95. I definitely snuck under that, whereas I would like to be able to catch it, more deliberately. Start was a little bit off on that one. And then watch this third one here. I try to go a little bit slower off the ground just because the start on the second one was a little bit weird. And then I do this little double pump here. It's okay. I did sneak under again a little bit like the first rep, but I do think that's better than the first rep. And then this last one is the best rep. I do have like a little pause in the catch, but I think it's one of those that's like I didn't expect the bar to be where it was. It's not because I was pushing myself forward necessarily. Like I moved a little bit forward and backwards in this plane of motion. I moved a little bit further forward relative to where the bar was um, because I wasn't expecting it to be there, simply put. So that was just another. I did four there because that first one was just not super great. So I needed to give myself another chance of redemption. Um, Here's my clean and jerks. Clean and jerks today were better than last week. Still not good. Last week I experienced the first failed clean I've had in all of 2023 for sure. Probably since November of last year, maybe even before that. I don't fail cleans. That's just like not one of those things that I do. Um, this 100 clean and jerk was good. I almost fell down there though. But for my clean jerks here, I I don't know, starting a little bit slower. I feel like I'm a lot more connected to the bar. You'll see in my top sets, none of the top sets end up being one of those things where I have to catch it on my shoulders and reset at the bottom. This is my last warm up here. I'm a little bit behind the bar on this one, for my liking, but still, I didn't have to regrip the bar at the bottom. 120. My upper back feels fine. It's no pain. Missed the jerk though. And I end up going to 125 here, just because I didn't think that that was going to be um, indicative of how everything would moving forward. Clean was pretty good. I mean, relative to everything, right? And I failed this jerk. I failed three jerks well, two jerks, and then I didn't go for my last attempt. But yeah, I don't know. Um, these cleans are all solid, right? Like I mentioned, this jerk is the better of the two jerks I do make. But yeah, I don't know. Today was a little challenging mentally, even though my lifts were going well. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on in my head. I ended up not doing my down sets for front squat because I was just really not having it today. Um, this jerk was a little sneak undery, like that little pushback there. That's still a made lifts, but that's not something that we like. That's not the feeling I like or anything. And then I go for a fourth attempt on clean jerk just because I know I failed the first one. Clean was okay, and I was just like, yeah, this is when like I just lost my shit mentally. um, front squats here started with 100 because I didn't have the most time in the world either. So I go 100, 120, 135, and then that's it. Like that's my top set, and then again I didn't do my down sets. So yeah, I mean for what it's worth, I basically did this same front squat weight and rep scheme on Monday. So I I know I can do it. It's not a big issue for me. So um, that's my rationale behind me skipping out on that. Finished off with some pull-ups and then dead bugs. Dead bugs are fun. Dead bugs are one of those exercises that you get what you put into it. It will, I think, will always be hard as long as you go slow. I was trying my best to hold like a 7 second thing here, and then if you go to failure, always it'll always be difficult. So yeah, I mean, today was good performance physically, but I think mentally in the grand scheme of things, is perspective wise, I have to a lot of things to work on. I'm happy I didn't feel any cleans, but that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Shoots.